Imagine a canvas where sketches transform into working systems. TLDraw computer is part whiteboard, part wizard, and as you'll see, pretty much AI dope.
All right, so get this. We're going to deep dive into this thing. TLDraw computer. It's being billed as, the digital canvas, but way cooler. It's like you can sketch out ideas and then, boom, they, come to life. Like crunching numbers, making images.
Yeah, it's wild how TLDraw computer blends, visual design with actual, computational thinking. It's like a dynamic whiteboard, not only capturing thoughts, but processing information, too.
Right, and from what I've seen, at first TLDraw feels familiar. Like other Canvas apps, It's got the basic tools, drawing, shapes, text, throwing in images and GIFs. But what makes it different are these things called components.
Yeah, the components are key here. They're like interactive elements that hold and process data. They're what make your creations really come alive. Like the text component, it's a super basic building block. It displays text, whether you type it in directly, or it gets it from other components.
So kind of like a digital Post-it note, but with superpowers. You can even lock it down so the text stays the same, even if other things around it are changing. That kind of control, that's powerful for, building complex systems.
Totally. And you can connect these components with arrows. You're basically creating a flow of data, right? So when one component gets updated, the change, cascades down to all the connected ones.
Oh, I see. So it's like a chain reaction almost.
Exactly. It's dynamic.
Makes me think of a graph where data can flow in a line. Or you can get all these crazy loops. Man, the image component really blew my mind, though. You just type in a description, like hamburger airplane, literally, and it makes an image based on those words.
And you can even control the style. Throw in descriptions like watercolor painting to make it, more unique. It's like you're working with an AI artist.
No kidding. And get this, the image component.
Yeah.
It doesn't just make the image. It also creates a text description of what it made. Like it's explaining its artwork.
Right. And that's really important, being able to describe the output.
Hey, want our free AI dope top AI tools that we use? Chat below. It's our live Google Sheets packed with over 100 killer tools, video, music, photos, AI voices, productivity, script writing, YouTube hacks, captions, the works, always growing, live Google Sheet, always free, AI, dope top AI tools that we use. Download and chat below. Back to the show.
The language model behind TLDraw, it's not just matching keywords, it's actually getting the concepts.
Oh, that's wild. That makes me think of the condition component, where you can create different paths based on, certain criteria. Remember in the video, TLDraw kept making images until it got one with the blue sky. It's conditions in action, right?
Exactly, that's it. The condition component is like a decision point. It guides the flow of data based on whether, something is true or not. You can create loops, iterative processes, kind of like in regular programming, but here's the real game changer, the instruction block.
Okay, now we're talking. So the instruction block lets you make your own procedures, turn any set of instructions into a reusable component. Like components like image come with pre-made instructions, right? But the instruction block, that opens up a whole new level of customization.
Think of it as a mini programmer inside TLDraw. You can write instructions in plain English, like, does the image have a blue sky behind it? And TLDraw figures out how to do it.
Wow, so it's almost like you're having a conversation with TLDraw.
Exactly, you tell it what you want. And it translates that into action.
That's pretty powerful.
It is. It really opens up programming for anyone. You don't need to learn fancy coding languages anymore.
And we can't forget about loops.
Right, loops.
Creating a loop in TLDraw is as easy as, connecting components in a cycle.
Exactly.
So you get this self-perpetuating process, like setting off a chain reaction.
Loops are super powerful, but they can get out of hand if you're not careful. Imagine a loop that never ends. It could just run forever, eating up all your resources, maybe even freezing your project.
Oh yeah, that would be bad.
That's where components like condition, timer, and interval are important. They give you really precise control over how the loops run.
So they're like tools for managing time and logic within your TLDraw creation.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Now, you mentioned arrow labels earlier. They're like a simple but really smart feature, right?
Yeah, arrow labels add so much clarity. Instead of just having arrows connecting everything, you can give those arrows names. So it's super clear what kind of data is moving between components.
Oh, I see. It's like labeling the ingredients in a recipe.
Exactly.
Especially helpful when you've got a really complex project with tons of connections. But CorelDRAW is not just about visuals, is it? It can actually crunch numbers, too.
Absolutely, it can. In the video, they showed how you can use instructions like double and add everything up. to do calculations with numbers.
So it's kind of like a calculator that understands what you're saying.
Exactly, but way more powerful than a regular calculator. Because of that language model, TLDraw can handle complex instructions, not just simple math.
Right. And because it can access general knowledge, you can use instructions that, rely on information about the real world.
Exactly. You're not limited to just the data in your project.
That's what makes TLDraw so amazing to me. It brings together visual thinking and computational thinking. You can think like a computer, even if you're not a programmer.
And that opens up so many possibilities, from making interactive diagrams and prototypes to exploring complex data and even building custom algorithms.
Wow, that's incredible.
And we're just scratching the surface here. There's a whole bunch of other components and features waiting to be explored.
Yeah, stay tuned as we keep diving deeper into the world of TLDraw Computer. I can't wait to see what else we discover.
Okay, so we've covered the main components, but TLDraw has a whole bunch more tools to really bring your ideas to life. There's ones that can grab live visuals from your camera, ones that turn text into speech, even ones that can build basic websites.
Oh yeah, those are cool. They open up so many possibilities, like the camera component, right? It's a live feed from your webcam. You can snap pictures or use it as input for other components.
Imagine a TLDraw project that reacts to what your camera is seeing. They showed in the video how you can combine camera with image to get some crazy effects.
Oh, right. That was fun.
Yeah, you could even draw something on paper, hold it up, and TLDraw would make an image of you with the drawing on it.
That's awesome. It's like augmented reality right on your computer. What about speech? Can TLDraw actually understand what you're saying?
Not yet, at least not spoken language. But
Yeah.
the speech component is really good for output. Give it text and it makes an audio clip. Perfect for presentations, voiceovers.
Oh, I see. So it's like a text-to-speech thing built in.
Yeah.
That'd be super useful for accessibility or making multimedia stuff.
Absolutely. And then there's the website component. It's pretty basic, but you can make simple web pages from text and images.
So it's not going to replace professional web design tools.
Right. It's more for quick mock-ups, experiments.
That's still really cool, though. You could sketch out a website in TLDraw and then see what it would actually look like in a browser.
Totally streamlines the whole process.
All right, let's talk about time. How does TLDraw handle time in a project?
Okay, so there's the timer and interval components. Timer is simple. You set how long it runs. When it's triggered, it counts down, then sends a signal to other components.
So it's like a built-in stopwatch.
Pretty much.
You could use that for delays, time sequences,
Exactly.
like a slideshow that advances automatically.
Interval is a bit different. It's like a timer that keeps repeating.
Oh, I see.
So instead of counting down once, it keeps triggering at set times.
That's perfect for animations that loop.
Yeah, or fetching data from a website every few seconds.
Now, there's one component that's still a bit fuzzy for me, the dialogue component.
Ah, yes, dialogue. It lets you create prompts that ask the user for input. So it pops up a box with your message, waits for the user to type something in, then uses that input for other components.
So you're basically having a conversation with your TLDraw creation.
In a way, yeah.
You could use that for so many things, like those choose-your-own-adventure stories.
Yeah, or to get information from the user. Personalize the project based on their input.
That's really powerful. Now, we've talked about TLDraw being powered by a language model, but how does it actually understand and work with data?
So at its core, TLDraw is all about manipulating data, using natural language instructions. For example, if you have a component with the number 10 in it, you could use the instruction double, and it would multiply it by 2.
Oh, that's cool. Like a calculator that you can just talk to?
Yeah, but way more advanced. Because it's using this language model, TLDraw can understand really complex instructions, not just simple math.
Right. And it can even access general knowledge.
Exactly, so you're not limited to just the data in your project. You can use information from the real world.
This is blowing my mind.
And impressive.
This combination of visual thinking and computational power.
That's what sets TLDraw apart.
We've covered a ton of components, features, techniques, from drawing and styling to manipulating data, loops, visual organization. TLDraw seems incredibly powerful and versatile. But there's one more thing. As our projects get more complex, we need to make sure they're still clear and organized. How do we do that?
Yeah, so as your TLDraw projects get, more complex, visual clarity becomes super important. One thing that helps is visual grouping. You can group related components together visually, like drawing a box around them or using different colors.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. It's like organizing your thoughts on a whiteboard.
Ah,
using different colored markers so you can see the different parts of the process more clearly.
exactly. And don't forget about labels. Give your components and arrows names that, actually describe what they do.
Right, so it's easy to understand at a glance. It's like good documentation for your TLDraw project.
Exactly. Good documentation is key.
Speaking of the documentation, you can also add comments directly in your project, like little text notes to explain things.
That's a great idea, especially for complex parts or processes.
It helps anyone looking at your creation to understand what's going on.
So we've talked about visual clarity, but let's go back to loops for a second. Remember, those self-perpetuating processes, they can get out of control if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, they can run forever if we don't set them up right.
Right, and that's where the condition component is so important. You can use conditions to create exit points for your loops based on certain criteria.
So the loop only keeps going as long as the condition is met.
Exactly, like in that blue sky example.
Right.
The loop keeps generating images until it gets one with a blue sky.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about controlling how long a loop runs? Like if we wanted to run a certain number of times, or for a specific amount of time.
You can do that too. You can use the timer and interval components inside your loops.
Oh, that's cool. So you can set a timer to stop the loop after a certain time, or use an interval to make things happen within the loop at specific times.
Exactly.
There's one component that's still a bit of a mystery to me, though, the off toggle. You said it can, short circuit the data flow, but I'm not sure when I would actually use that.
Yeah, the off toggle is a bit more advanced, but it can be really useful sometimes. It lets you temporarily block the flow of data through a specific arrow.
So it's like a switch that turns off the data flow.
Kind of,
Why
yeah.
would I want to do that?
Well, you could use it to create pauses or delays in your data flow, or to selectively activate or deactivate certain parts of your project.
Oh, I see. Like if I only want certain things to happen under certain conditions.
Exactly.
Man, we've covered so much ground today. We've talked about components, features, techniques, from drawing and styling to data manipulation loops, visual organization. TLDraw computer seems like an incredibly powerful tool.
It really is. It's amazing how it brings together visual thinking and computational thinking.
You don't have to be a programmer to use it.
And that's what makes it so exciting. Anyone can use TLDraw to explore their ideas, to create new things, to solve problems in new ways.
That's like a whole new way of thinking. I'm
Exactly.
so excited to see what people do with TLDraw.
Me too. Possibilities are endless.
I think we've just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore.
Definitely. And if you want another AI dope deep dive, check this next video and ask yourself, how lucky are we to live in these AI dope times?